Jevon, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Get super professional real quick. Now, I've been, I say this all the time to a lot of people that are local here. And when I'm thinking about doing podcasts, I get so what's out there. And then sometimes the closer, it's like it's too close to focus in on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'll see something you post. I'm like, fuck, I need to get Jevon in. And then I'll be at bike night getting drunk. And then I forget about it the next day. And
shit happens.
Yeah, it does, man. And it's like, it's just wild, but it's awesome to still see, Pickard, you still in the motorcycle industry for well over 20 years now, right?
I started making motorcycle parts in 04, but Pickard, the brand in 07. So 18.
How,
18 years.
I met you a long time ago, around that time.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in the motorcycle stuff?
So my family's had a manufacturing company, machine shop.
Uh-huh.
I grew up in there, but they're in like semiconductor. It's a tech kind of industry. And I've always been a tinker, man. Mm-hmm. So I've grown up running around in the machine shop, learning how to use the manual mills and stuff like that. Went to college, came back, worked for the family, and they wanted me to start, sales, management. I was like, I want to work at the machine shop. They're like, no. So I would do, the white collar shit. Yeah. And then after hours, I'd go hang out in the machine shop. They were running 2 shifts at that time.
How do you sell a semiconductor? Isn't that something that just kind of sells itself?
They make, computer chips are made on a silicon wafer. Uh-huh. And Texas Instruments, all like Intel and all them that have fabs. Yeah. They print layer by layer. And that's how, anything electronic has a chip in it. Yeah. So what they made were tools to move those around in the clean rooms because you can't touch them. Oh, yeah. So it was like robotic kind of stuff.
So it's like you're providing the service so that they can do they can make it.
Yeah, we make the tools for them to to go through their process.
I always tell people that it's like if you look at like the surface labor industries, there's always, at least typically, there are tens, if not hundreds, of other sub industries to keep those industries going. Like if you're a barber, there's someone making scissors and product chemicals. And, the chair, the fucking barber sign that does that. Like there's all these other careers within, I guess, the umbrella of one, industry. So growing up in that environment and just being hands-on, I came back in 04 and that was during the chopper phase. And I'm like, I'm going to build myself a chopper from the ground up. So I bought a Rolling Thunder frame. Yeah. Got some wheels for it. This is before I started making wheels. And started making simple stuff like pegs and things like that. And then I met someone who was working at Strokers, which back then was Easy Riders. He's like, hey, man, you should bring this by and show it to Rick. He thought it was cool. Used a couple things, but, that kind of just opened my eyes into the local, custom V-twin scene. Yeah, yeah. At that time, man, there was a bunch of shops in Dallas. A lot of chopper builders, too.
Mom and pop shops. Yeah. There were a ton. Just
fucking, you couldn't.
Every block.
Yeah, they're like powder coaters, right?
Yeah. So I kind of dabbled in that for a while. I hooked up with a company in California, and then we were making parts overseas, like stamping fenders, gas tanks, and stuff like that. Around 07, that was kind of around 07, 08. Yeah. Things started tanking. Yeah. And that California business kind of started slowing down. I'm like, I need to start doing something here. Yeah. Hooked up with my partner, Mitch. Have you met?
Yeah, I met Mitch.
Yeah, Mitch Pickard. So if y'all know, that's what Pickard USA comes from. Yeah. It's my partner, Mitch. He's very creative and more on the artistic end of the business. And we decided we want to do wheels. We had a buddy that was working at Iron Horse, making the wheels. And at that time, there was like PM, RC Comp, Renegade.
And yeah,
There were like 4 or 5
yeah,
people that actually made their own wheels. So we kind of were like, okay, there's a little niche there, and not everyone's doing it.
mm-hmm.
And that was kind of always been our business model. Like, we got to find something that not any shop can just have any machine shop make, because wheels was kind of specialized back then.
Yeah, I mean, having a CNC machine was a much different thing than it is now, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, back then, wheels, like you had, most shops had, manual lathe, manual mill, things like that in it, but you rarely saw a CNC machine in someone's shop until I feel like right during that craze, but I feel like after like the boom of the bagger market is when I felt like more people were getting, like Covington starts to get a couple CNCs, and Yaffe and all these other people start getting these stuff kind of local within their stuff. But I don't know, man. It's like crazy just thinking back to all that stuff.
Back then, it was very rare for a bike shop. And we were never a bike shop. We were just, we've always identified ourselves as, a manufacturer, machine shop. So, we came out 07 to the V-Twin Expo.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever?
Yeah, that was in Cincinnati, right?
Cincinnati.
Yeah. I went once.
Yeah, so that's a dealer only show.
Yeah,
back in the day, and that was kind of like the big kickoff. It was in February, kickoff to the winter build season.
Well, when you go do that, like people would like brands, or not just brands, but like we call them brands now, but shops would go there that were dealers for products. And they would see hands-on new products coming out from different brands. It's a trade show, if you will.
It was a trade show for dealers and shops only.
Yeah.
It wasn't open to the public.
Yes. I mean, it's kind of like what SEMA is, but not to the scale of what SEMA is.
Yeah.
SEMA is still a little bit more than...
I feel like SEMA, the original,
more
like in the first years, it was more of a manufacturer trade show.
Yeah.
And then it's like morphed into much more of...
Now it's just a car show.
Yeah, it's just a car show.
Yeah, it's like,
to each other.
Yeah, whose booth is having what in it, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah. But, man... Yeah, the V-Twin show, like that was a fucking good time. I missed that kind of stuff,
We went every year, and that was like how you built up dealers back then. That was before social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like Facebook was barely.
Yeah, Facebook wasn't really used for marketing like that, though. It was like
Not
more.
04, 05, 06.
I got a Mayfly in here. What the fuck? So having the shop door open all day does for you. You can pull this closer. That way you don't have to sit so far. You feel like you're getting away from it. But so how was did y'all focus mainly on the wheels at first and trying to kind of get those out there?
At first, all we did was wheels.
Mm-hmm.
We went to, our debut was at 07 Cincinnati V-Twin Expo.
Yeah.
We had 24 wheel designs.
Damn.
And do you remember Two Wheel Thunder, that TV show? Jay and Michelle Smith.
I remember the show. I don't remember the individuals. Fuck.
Those are the two hosts. And that was a pretty popular show for, the custom stuff back then. And they came and interviewed us, and that's kind of how we really got our start. That like outside of local.
Yeah.
And back then it was Hot Bike, Chopper, whatever magazines that we advertise in.
Yeah, that's you pretty much had the magazines, but you had to go to these events and
go to the shows. Yeah,
like Easy Rider was still kind of circling. The Easy Rider shows were still kind of going around the country, but they slowly started getting, one would come off the table, and then another year would go by, and another one off the table. Yeah. But yeah, Judge, I think I met you because I was more into building or working on the metrics at the time.
You were on the sport bike side.
Yeah, and then I remember you guys coming around, and I was selling a lot of this brand Roaring Toys, which basically sold PM and RC component wheels. Yeah. And that was always a concern. Like, hey man, have y'all cut for metric and stuff like that? Because it's a little bit different, bearings and shit like that, right?
Back then they had Cush drives, and Harley was all direct.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Remember the Cush drive hubs?
Mm-hmm. I don't even remember. I think we just bolted on fucking sprockets to like boosters and stuff. I don't remember.
Theirs was, instead of like that chunk thing that we have.
Yeah.
It was individual, like round rubber inserts that had pockets.
Almost like little skateboard wheels.
Yeah, and then the sprocket had longer bolts that just pushed into that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember that now. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was like, fuck, how did they used to do that? Because all the sport bikes had cushion.
We did some like ZX10 wheels, some Busa wheels. But
when I was
that
in
market back then, they didn't spend the money like the Harley guys. We were going to go down that road, but we're like, they're like, how much are the wheels? I'm like, dude, they're not cheap.
Being in it, I always felt like there was money in it, but at the same time, my idea of what kind of money existed in like the space of building and working on bikes, I just wasn't like tuned into what it cost to build a chopper, what it cost to build like a true, V twin Harley, a big twin. You know what I mean? Turn it up a little bit. I'm just trying to be safe. But yeah, how did like moving, like when the big wheel bagger thing or the bagger market started to kind of boom, were you still focused mainly on the wheel stuff, or did you kind of like start to open up? So y'all built some bikes too, you know what I mean?
We did wheels up until probably like, I'm trying to think when. To make a wheel, you have to have a forged blank, right?
Yeah.
So we were getting them from All American in California by pallets, shipping them to Dallas. Okay, we'd machine them in the shop. And as you know, there's no polishers and chromers here.
Yeah.
That's worth of shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we'd cut enough wheels in 1 or 2 weeks, fill up a pallet, ship it back to California. So the lead times back then was like 4 to 6 weeks still with all that shipping, because we have, inventory of blanks on the shelf. But I don't remember exactly when it was, but when gas prices went up, shipping went up, then lead times started getting longer. It just started drawing out to like 6-8 weeks, and it just dealing with the customers was a headache.
Yeah. For the profit margin, for all the headache and the.
So we decided to have shops in California make some of the wheels for us for our designs, and then some of the real specialty ones that were kind of complicated.
Yeah,
were just they didn't want to tie up their machines that long. We would do it here, send it back and forth, and then kind of eventually faded out of the wheels. Started doing fiberglass parts, and that was right at the beginning of the big wheel.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the choppers, and then it went to like bobbers and Pro Street, and then it went into the baggers.
Yeah.
And we were still making wheels until like really the 26s took off. So whatever.
Yeah, the 26 is probably 2012.
Yeah.
Because it felt like I remember seeing. Yeah, I felt like the 21s and the 23s crept up, and then it was like 26,
and
then 30. Yeah. It just kind of like went crazy after that. But that's the other thing about like it makes sense being here in Texas. If we had the chromers, the polishers, and kind of the manufacturing that a lot of California has, because of like a lot of wheel manufacturers like Car and all that's out there, it makes sense because here to ship to the customer is better.
Yeah, we're right in the middle.
Right. But when you're going back and forth for these like specialty things.
Yeah, once those shipping prices and gas went up, it started making no sense because all your margin was in ship, Yeah,
and those forged blanks are coming from overseas, right?
Back then, there was no overseas blanks. It was all from California.
Okay.
Yeah, all American.
Yeah, because didn't like the V rubber tire, wasn't that like I want to say it was financed by like Metal Sport or one of the wheel companies or something.
Yeah, Ron
like
at Metal Sport.
Yeah.
Because that's when Doug was there.
Yeah. Oh, Doug Magoon. I remember that name. That's been a while.
Dougie Fresh, man.
Man. Yeah, because he left that and then
did the
Mad Wheels. And that was kind of like, that was like the wheel to have for a minute. And then you had like the VIP Alliance kind of came on the scene. They had some pretty, it seemed like they all just kind of took wheel designs from like car company stuff.
That's all it was.
And I mean, it was cool. And it was kind of getting away from like the tribal that was in a lot of wheels in the early days, Now I feel like everybody wants those OG like RC wheels and those OG PM style
like
wheels.
Like a straight 5 or split 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I like, like something that might be able to stand a little bit, like not be so dated to like a style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I airbrushed like skulls and real fire, dude, it's been like 15 years or some shit. Every once in a while I do it just for
let's be
nostalgia.
honest. You just put a skull in the back of one of your helmets a couple months ago. So
I just want to see if I still
see
had
if you
it.
still got it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just crazy how the shit changes, man. You know?
I mean, those days were tribal flames, skulls,
Fucking neons.
naked chicks.
Yeah,
you know,
dude.
just.
It was a good time, man.
And then now you see it and you're just like, it's like a tramp stamp, man. You know, you're like,
it's the barbed wire
fuck
tattoo
is
around
that?
the arm.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
It really did. It didn't age well. That's for damn sure. Man,
Yeah, I got some buddies who still have, old school bikes from like 09 and stuff. And I'm like, damn, you still have that.
yeah.
It's still the same paint job. Like, those were the days. But those were days were fun, man.
Man, this was crazy. It's like you've been here in Dallas for, ever as well. We've been crossing paths back and forth for many years, over the last 20 years almost. And we've always had a vibrant scene, a motorcycle scene in Dallas. And I feel like we had more brands here throughout the chopper and the big wheel world. But nowadays it feels like it's just repair shops.
Yeah.
Not so much people doing custom motorcycles here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what is
I
custom
agree.
nowadays? You know what I mean?
Bolting some shit on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, essentially that's what it is, right? But I don't know. I don't even know where to go with that, man. It's like it's just different now.
Motor work is custom now, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But
pretty,
it all goes through phases.
Yeah, do you think it'll go back to fucking naked chicks and tribal wheels? I don't feel like it'll go back to that.
I don't know about the paint side, but maybe one day it'll go back to people actually building bikes like the chopper days,
Yeah.
where you got to build some. I mean, like your FXR stuff, it's kind of going back that way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's happening. Right. You know what I mean? I feel like that's happening right now because of what we were just talking about before we jumped on the mics, where a lot of people feel jaded from the amount of money they spent on, performance baggers. And then when the rug got pulled out from under it when the new models dropped, I've never seen that big of a jump from like a loss in the Kelly Blue Book on a bike.
Everyone's upside down on their bikes.
Yeah. Literally in six months, they're like, $7,000-8,000 upside down,
The funny thing is, I remember when they first released the picture of the new Street Glide and Road Glide, and everyone lost their shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like a fucking Indian. They ain't no Harley. And then now it's the fucking bike to have.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I know Jace remembers.
Do you remember like that sneak peek that Harley like leaked out?
Oh, he remembers.
Oh, you mean me?
Oh, was that you?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He still wears the scarlet letter for it.
Yeah. Me and
I
Harley.
didn't know that was you.
Yeah, me and Harley are still working on that relationship because of that. I was on my way to Arlen-Ness. I know exactly where I was whenever I put that out.
That's funny.
I was in a hotel room at I just left Oakland. I was like right by Ness's place. I was driving down the coast to go do a podcast with him. And I just kind of put it out there like, fuck it, whatever. And
dude, it did break the internet for real. Like, love it or hate it. Like, there were so many conversations.
There were bad angles.
But you're right. But I do remember that the fairing was huge.
It is fucking huge in real life, though.
Yeah, but I remember it was like that low 3/4 front shot, and it looked fucking
massive.
huge.
Yeah.
It's like those cartoons, the characters where they do like that weird looking thing.
It reminded me of like the dude that does steroids that never works out his legs. Like he was so big up top.
Johnny Bravo, dude.
It was like, oh. Dude, rugged.
Yeah, man. Well, like, I still to this day don't know who sent me that. I got an anonymous text that those photos were in. And then when I released the photos, I had more people hit me up and go, hey, I got a text too from that. And then other people started sending me other photos that were taken in the same, I guess, time of that. And of course, like, because I was patient zero on it, I got, I didn't get backlash. It's just, it kind of tainted the relationship that I've been trying to build with Harley. And I'm good with like a certain departments of Harley, but then there's like certain departments that are like,
They didn't see it for what it was. He was trying to do something good.
I feel like it helped
conversation, right?
Yeah.
And they just saw it as you took the wind out of their sails, but I think it helped.
Yeah. Well, what do they call it? An NDA? Those do
NDA.
well. Yeah. When you put people on them,
Yeah, right.
No, it's I don't know. It was a crazy time, but yeah, when those things came out, it was definitely the internet seemed torn on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm kind of torn. Like I like it,
But everyone kind of accepts it now, right?
yeah. I think it's like anytime a new car or vehicle comes, like when you get so used to the way the Escalade looks or a Tahoe, as soon as they change the front end or
You
something,
gotta
you're
hate
like,
on it. Like,
oh man, I don't know if I like that. And then you start seeing
grows on you.
see someone with some custom wheels on it. Or,
Yeah, it's got to have the right stance and stuff.
Yeah,
Like people
yeah.
got to customize a little bit, and then like, oh, you can't make it look cool.
It'll open
what I
up
mean?
the pathways for it for sure. I like the new Street Glide. I mean, I'm just not a Street Glide person,
Yeah.
but I think I like that fairing and look more than I like the Road Glide one. You know what I mean? But I don't know. They're just,
You still paint baggers?
unfortunately, No, well, I have a 24 Road Glide down there on the shelf that I need to paint, but the problem is that like it's like everything else. Like the money that we charge to paint a bagger, when when that cold transition happened, I think it's stifled a lot of people wanting to invest money into those things. And those new baggers are way more surface material. They're way more harder nooks and crannies to sand in and prep back and forth. And when you're clear coating a bike 3 times to do a proper custom paint job, like that's a lot of fucking material, sanding, time.
It's hard to charge extra for that. That's just
And so it's like, fuck it, man. I personally have said this a lot of times. I don't see the custom paint industry. Like, I don't think it has, to be fair, I don't think it has 20 years, but I think it might even be 10 years before like all these specialty coatings that brands are trying to figure out how to do are going to just take over the market where, I mean, we thought it was going to happen with Plasti Dip. You remember that shit when people was doing that stuff? But
in vinyl wraps.
If people can't afford it, then eventually it doesn't, the younger generation is going to find a new way to make things cool.
Yeah.
It's not going to involve the shit that we do, or I do. Therefore, it's going to be null and void. Like, why spend 20 grand to paint a bagger?
Yeah.
When we can just fucking vinyl wrap it and it's accepted
Or
because
hydro dip or anything. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know how that's going to transpire,
It's a good thing you got the podcast.
About to have to do a gender change just to kind of keep up with
It's out of control, dude.
a beard and some tits.
Right.
But no, I think keeping up with it's pretty difficult. You know what I mean? But it's also like when you stay kind of involved in the scene, I think that you can kind of see, you get a little bit of a peek around the corner a little bit, maybe not a complete vision of what's going to come, but you can see when trends start changing.
Yeah.
And usually when younger like demographics start to kind of navigate towards something, like it tends to be the next wave.
Yeah.
So like when the dynaculture was blowing up in 2014, 15, and 16, it was kind of easy to see that trend coming.
Yeah.
And eventually, most of these guys that were on dynas, it was easily going to translate over to baggers at some point. I didn't really see performance baggers going the way it went, but I saw that like this younger generation was on dynas and FXRs and shit like that. Yeah. So, and then the big wheel thing just got fucking weird, man. Got clownish, all-star baggers,
It's
fucking
too much, man.
stereos and, just so much fiberglass.
Hey, that kept me in business for many years.
Yeah. I mean, Real Fire kept me in business for many years too. I used to, like I said, when I was doing a lot of the bagger stuff, like the big wheel stuff, I was buying a lot of your parts, man. Your tank shells, your side
trees.
covers, triple trees for the 23s. I actually have a set. No, I actually sold those. I was going to say I have a set down there, I think.
Man, those 6-degree trees, the bolt-on stuff, rarely. It's not what it used to be
For real?
as far as sales on them.
Do people still put the 23s on, or they just try to leave them the way, like not put rake or the trees on it at all, or what?
You'll get some dudes here and there, but back then we couldn't make them fast enough.
Yeah.
There's not many people doing 23s or the Fat 21s, which use that same triple tree.
Didn't a lot of people go to the 23, the Fat 23?
The Fat 23, like you use it's a 26 neck.
Yeah, it's 26. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those look kind of cool. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
They look pretty cool.
They ride good.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never rode one. I always felt like it would be like super heavy front end, but
No, they're pretty.
Me and Yaffe, we didn't argue about it, but we were kind of like, both kind of like, he's like, it rides amazing. I'm like, compared to what? Like a bagger that's got a smaller front wheel that's nimble and agile. Like, I don't like
it rolls real easy.
Smooth,
And
right?
then like you don't get pulled in the grooves on the highway just because it's a wider front. Just turning it just feels a lot more like effortless.
Yeah, I feel like luxury performance is the way to say it.
Yeah, it'd be like a 61 Lincoln just floats down the road, you know?
Fuck yeah. Well, how did, like, with the company, like, how did y'all get in from, the billet and all the manufacturing? Like, was there already a composite side of the brand? Or did y'all open that up in the...
We did that kind of right in the beginning of the big wheel stuff. At first, I was having another shop, like a fiberglass shop, make it for me. And they were making like automotive parts. And then, I'd create new parts, go over there, they make the mold, and then, they'd make the parts for me. And then that guy, after a few years, wanted to retire. So he pretty much trained me. And then we took over like 3 of his employees. So it kind of worked out.
He should have just sold you the business. That would have been a smarter
And
thing,
then
right?
that's where I'm still renting from him.
Oh, okay.
So him and I, we've known each other for a long time.
Nice.
And he'd been doing, before me, I mean, he was in the fiberglass for like 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
So he was my mentor and taught us how to do all of the, mold making, layup. And then luckily I had guys that were employed, they used to work for him. They it was pretty smooth transition.
Nice.
So, man, we did that all through the big wheel bagger. For 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't feel like
we started off doing like front fenders, rear fenders.
Dude,
bags,
still front fenders
tanks.
is still one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah.
Like those front fenders that you guys made, like I ran them on just about all my bikes back then.
Oh, the Hustler.
Yeah.
The one that
the little hook at the bottom.
Yeah.
I just always thought the FL fender just looked gangster as fuck to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when a lot of people were doing the wrap fenders, which also I like it has a more sporty look to it. But that FL style fender with like some kind of like swag going on, it was just, for me, it was just like it was different.
Yeah, that's what my partner Mitch, like we did obviously the stretch at FL.
Yeah.
And then we had to do like 3 or 4 different designs. It all came out of the same mold, right? You just cut a different pattern.
Oh, yeah. I remember you had little cut lines on it. Yeah, the fiberglass stuff, man, it's wild because, like Sean TOL got into that stuff real heavy. And then the guy that used to do Black Label Baggers, Pat, I think, in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. What happened to him?
He had like a boat company. It was like a company that was either repairing or doing something with like holes and things like that.
Yeah.
Craziest shit in the world when you're like in the desert and it's got a huge boating community.
Like Havasu.
Like Havasu, like Powell, like all those things.
The Colorado River runs right through
there. Yeah. So it's like, my homie in NorCal that I used to go work for up there was like his other gig out of building bikes was building jet skis, like the little seat standers to do those little fucking
flips. And
shit. Like crazy ass, like 2-stroke Yamaha motors or some shit in those things.
As many lakes as we have in Dallas, I'm surprised there's no like,
we don't have
fiberglass shop.
I think there's like one in Midlothian, but I don't think that they do as much as like
probably repair.
Yeah, like repair stuff.
There ain't no one really building boats out here.
Nah, the big money boat stuff is out west.
Yeah.
Or in Florida or something like that. It's like do you even take a really nice boat to Galveston?
No.
No. Yeah.
You're gonna have a pipe or something.
No.
I feel like you don't really start seeing nice boats till maybe Destin, maybe over there,
Yeah,
but
Florida
I feel like
for sure.
South Florida is where it's at.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when you have those like those kind of companies, and then there was a guy up in fucking Oklahoma City. Remember that OKC certified dude that was doing it? Then he fucked a lot of people over or something like that.
Then he's not in the scene no more.
So that's how it goes, man. Since we've been doing motorcycles, we've seen a lot of people
come and go,
blow up. Like the biggest thing since fucking, whatever. And then just,
they fuck it up somehow.
Yeah. They either like rob Peter to pay Paul. Or they just were scam artists to begin with. And they always get chased out of the industry and they don't last.
Dude, that OKC dude, I even sent a fender when I was in New Mexico. I sent my rear fender so that because he wanted it to make a mold, and I sent it to him. Literally said he never got it. I was like, bro, I have the signature. Like,
yeah.
And he just stopped responding.
I feel like that shit doesn't happen as much anymore because I feel like everybody's too connected through social media. Yeah. Like you're one shout out away from like people knocking on someone's door. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I know it still happens. You know what I mean? Yeah. But not like it used to. It was like that dude was fucking wild. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of that going on.
I mean, those bikes, man, they were bringing big money and people. They take those big deposits and they go buy the shit they wanted and then never.
You can't finish a bike.
They can't finish the bike, man. And then they fucking just hope the next one shows up and to finish the last one. And
well, Jake, you and me talk about that all the time. That's the painter culture in general. Like, I'm going to take a deposit. I'm going to spend that to, not on the project. And then the next thing you know, I need another project so I can finish the first guy. It's this weird pyramid scheme that we use.
It's like your own Ponzi scheme to stay afloat.
Pretty much, man. So like, did y'all still do any of those old fenders or is it just kind of like?
No, I still got,
Oh, nice.
So now all those fenders for the front fenders are very popular with the softail, the Cholo, the Vicla guys.
All the Vicla stuff.
Yeah. So nice. 21s and 23s.
Yeah.
And then the 26 for like the dirty tail style, softail. So I'm still cranking out the front fenders.
Yeah. I like that dirty style. That dirty tail stuff's dope, man.
Yeah.
I wish there was more like that scene. We got a good scene of that here in Dallas. I feel like all the Viclas.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like when the softail, the newest like M8 softails came out, you couldn't like slam those.
I think that's
the same
the
way.
Softails kind of that scene because the softails were going hard for a while. Because it was doing the Cholo bikes and the softail baggers, which is kind of quirky, but a lot of those guys were into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the beach bars with like the saddlebags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marcus had something like that. His was actually pretty clean. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's
those
cool.
M8 softails just.
Man, they got the wider back tires too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's weird.
I didn't really see too much, product development and worth our time doing that.
Yeah. It seems like the market for the softails is definitely more performance oriented stuff. And what would you say? Like, the thing is like that when they first came out with those bikes, they had like 3 different seats because there was 3 different fenders and tank situations. And so you couldn't buy like, a Saddleman seat that would fit all the softail models.
Yeah. You were just married to what you have.
Yeah. And it, for brands like yourself that got to make products for those type of things, it's like 3 different tooling situations.
I like the original softail, like the rear fenders 87 to 18.
It's fucking a huge,
right?
It's like the pegs and the grips and things like that.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. When the new Road Glides and shit came out, when they changed the whole fly-by-wire stuff in the twist grip sensor stuff.
Yeah, I remember that. All the handlebar companies, grips, like the whole 9 yards, like they had to retool all that stuff. Yeah.
And then a lot of them were scared because when they dropped that 23 mid-year CVO, do you go all in and start manufacturing that, or are they going to make it across the line, or is this just a CVO thing? You know what I mean? The twist grip was obviously going to be that, but
like on the body parts, the 23.5 CVO, the dash.
Yeah.
So now that's a standard 24 and up fitment, with the bags and all that shit's different.
How's that? But isn't that one complicated because it has a different style gas cap
On the newer style?
Yeah.
That one's actually easier for us to
For
make
real?
because you don't have to bond. Like, there's no, like the back of it where it mounts to like right by your seat on the end of the tank is part of the dash. Whereas on these styles,
Oh yeah, it
you
screws
have
in.
that bracket.
Yeah.
So then you got to make and bond in on the back side.
But what about in the gas cap area? Like where that new cap is that cap proprietary to the like
It just has on the dash, it just has a gasket around it.
oh, so it's
It
not
just
even like
drops
attached
in.
to it?
No.
Oh hell yeah.
It just kind of
ain't
drops
bad.
over.
Shit.
Yeah.
What about what do you guys think on like the new bikes? Have you got one in yet to start really fucking with it or what?
Some parts here and there. But I'm almost done with all of the, 23 and a half and down.
Yeah. Having like all the tooling for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Rear fenders the same? I think they're the same,
Rear
right?
fenders are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily that hasn't changed. Obviously the front fender's not going to change because that's just the diameter. Mainly it's the bag and lid and the fairing, obviously.
Yeah. You guys have a RT fairing too, right? Like the FXR?
Yeah.
How much of a bitch is that to fucking mold?
It's a 2-piece mold.
For sure.
And then you got to do quite a bit of body work.
Yeah.
So we're trying to scratch our head on how to make one out of carbon. But
Good luck.
it's going to be a motherfucker. There's guys out there that make it, but they're like 3,500.
Yeah.
It's
The hardest
crazy.
part with that is getting your weave not fucked up in the right spots,
Yeah.
Because of all the curvature.
All the contours.
Yeah.
Some of them you can't, there's no way you can do it. So you'll see a little
seam,
fine
yeah.
line. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that shit's complicated. I think Dominator or one of those
Dominator
companies,
makes one in carbon.
but I think they're aren't they like an overseas company?
Most of the carbon fiber guys are
They are.
like Italy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Italy and like some in Thailand, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably 2 or 3 people in the U.S. stateside that are actually making it. But on the FXR stuff, I've got the upper fairing, but I got 2 versions, stock and then with the speaker pods.
Okay.
Light pods, the lowers, 2 versions, stock and speaker
With
pod.
the speaker in it. Yeah. Do those also the light pods? Those also could they work on factory fairings and stuff like that? Like if you wanted to put one on, just buy those to put it on like a a stock fairing or whatever.
Like a FXR.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, those things are hard to find, like the OEM ones.
Oh yeah, for sure. The thing is finding all the gaskets and all the lenses and shit. But now there's aftermarket companies, making those kits. But there's some people who want to build the old school replicas.
Yeah,
I always get those calls. I'm like, dude, I don't know eBay.
yeah. Well, making some lighting, like with especially with the fucking like the Baja, the what is it, the Shark Demon, like all these different more off-road style lighting things. I feel like part of me feels like it's a trend that could come, it could go. So it's like, do you lean into making things that can fit those type of lights? And how much different are they to where like, can you make one that most of those lights manufacturers fit into? Like, would it be cool to have like something like that where you can put
Like
some
a
of those
small one.
Yeah.
The LP6 fits. We've got just a metal bracket that fits into the FXR. That one fits. Every brand's different though, man.
Yeah.
Rigid.
Yeah. The devs.
Oh, fucking. Who's a
Custom Dynamics has a Shark
has
Demon
their
one.
own
Yeah.
now.
I see them all the time. Every day, it seems like every lighting companies decide they're going to come up with a off-road style light, and they all mount different. It's crazy.
I mean,
They all
I
probably come out of the same fucking factory in China.
Right.
They just put a different label on it.
Right.
well, when they started like coming out, like I felt like I understood the direction because it was such a like off the beaten path of what everybody else was doing in the motorcycle world, customizing. But then when the new bikes came out, like the Street Glide and the Road Glide, I thought that was it. You know what I mean? But now they've all made ways to put those in there.
Squeeze the small ones on the side.
Yeah, and it's kind of dope. I mean,
they don't look bad.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like it actually looks pretty badass. I personally never really fucked with them. Not so much. The Baja, I never wanted to do that because they have the little vents in it, and I ride too much, and I get dragonflies and shit in there, and I'll be in there trying to get that shit out. But the custom dynamic one, I like that one because it's all like it doesn't have it's smooth. It's kind of like the rigid as well. Yeah. Has like shield over it or whatever. So I don't know, man. It's just a mess. But I mean, you remember when the Daymaker first came out and like everybody?
Oh, that was the shit, man.
People were buying $1,000 headlights from fucking Harley.
And now you can buy them on Amazon, the exact same
$60
thing for like $60. Oh, and then it had the integrated blinker.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Remember the speaker, so you lean, the whole light will turn with it. You're like, oh, you're doing big things now.
Yeah.
We used to mold like that little Yaffe brow onto the old Road Glides.
On the Road Glides, yeah.
And the headlight was permanently in there. Like we would mold it all the way around and body work it. You can never take it out. Yeah. It looks sick though. Give you a lot more space to kind of like paint and almost a different shape. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's you know, when I was building that FXR, I used more of the things I learned building big wheels, like making seat pans, fucking all the ways I did the wiring and this, that, and the other. Like I learned all that building big wheels as opposed to like
putting it back on.
Yeah. I mean, it's like basic shit, I guess you'd say.
Same shit.
Yeah.
It's just cleaner.
So what's y'all's process for the carbon fiber? I know that was a big conversation piece at some point where they were talking about like the different layers and how you're going about it and what's what and shit like that.
So that was a huge learning curve from going to, hand laying fiberglass to infusion.
Yeah.
So we do a infusion process.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much you have a mold, spray your gel coat, clear gel.
Mm-hmm.
And then you call it your beauty layer. Your first layer is typically a thinner weave, just so it conforms better.
Yeah.
And then you can back it up with like thicker, a thicker weight.
Carbon.
And the back layers you don't really see. And then on those we'll add, extra reinforcements like kind of around the ears. Just depends on the part.
Yeah.
And you got to put down a peel ply, a breather, put a bag, seal it. And one side's vacuum, one side's like an injection for resin. Mix up your epoxy and you got to flow it through. Hardest thing is make sure if you go too fast, you're going to have too many air bubbles.
Yeah.
Or it might not wet out some areas. So it's kind of like we fucked up a lot of parts to get a decent part.
The learning curve, yeah.
The learning curve is steep.
But you put like those different vacuum points so that it kind of like evenly pulls it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the shape of the part too.
Yeah.
Right? So that one's pretty simple. You just go from front to back. The fenders, so you can go front to back or side. I usually try to choose the shortest distance.
Yeah.
Because I like to mix it kind of hot. So you're not waiting so long for it to harden, kick.
Yeah.
But you just got to play with it, man. And that's where we tried it a long time ago and we were just so busy with regular fiberglass. I couldn't take my guys off of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To just dedicate and learn it. And then now we're kind of forced into it.
Yeah.
This is how the market
went that way.
Market went that way. So
yeah, I feel like the next rage is all that chop carbon stuff. You know what I mean?
That's actually easier.
Yeah, because you don't have to worry about the weave at all.
Yeah, you just sprinkle that shit in, and then you back it up with the regular weave.
Yeah.
I should have I had a chop carbon ST dash that looks pretty dope.
Yeah, I think that's actually I guess when you get used to like so many carbon parts like that weave starts to it's just different. Like when the honeycomb started coming out and everybody was doing that,
Looks good.
I can't imagine how many different molds you got to keep in the shop just for all these different parts. And
that's what takes the most space, man.
Yeah.
And the molds aren't like the mold for that is probably, it's pretty good size.
You like want to have like a very, very stout, almost like it's built into like a frame.
Yeah.
That way, when you're doing all these parts, like you're going to get more pieces out of the mold versus like if you build a flimsy ass mold, you can only get 10 parts out of.
It'll warp.
Yeah, it'll warp. It starts fucking up your parts, and
So that's what the time consuming thing is, like building up the whole product line, and the way you build molds for carbons more like labor intensive than like fiberglass.
Yeah,
you gotta have flanges, for putting your bag down and things like that. So
big size so you can put that little rubber or that little it's like silly tape. Putty kind of thing, or the tacky tape. Yeah, my buddy in NorCal, like I said, when I was on my bike trip this summer, I stopped by his shop because he builds like a big fucking like those long ass race boats now. Not race boats, but
it's like a jet boat.
Like a jet boat, but they don't really race them. But they just kind of like flex on them and shit.
Yeah,
he's always trying to get me to paint them, but it's like you got to paint reverse.
Yes, because it's gel coat.
Yeah, so you're painting like the last layer first. I'm like, dude, that's
fucks you up.
I can't fucking do that. Like if I watch somebody do it, like shadow them, I'll understand it. But right now, the process in my head, I'm like, fuck no, that sounds horrible.
It's completely opposite of what you
know.
Yeah, you work from the bottom to the top.
Yep. But yeah, they were vacuum bagging this entire fucking hole. And, they were pulling, like they were just doing the air at first. So they were seeing where, like say on the dash here, where you have those deep things, they wanted to make sure that it was sucking and getting all the way in. Yeah. That way you wouldn't have like a little air bubble pocket in like a big corner or some shit like that. Yeah.
It's a cool process. And people wonder why that shit's so expensive. Like there's so many consumables just to make a part.
Each bag,
tape, and then the peel ply, the breather, all the fittings, the lines, gets thrown out the trash. Like you can't reuse it.
Damn.
And then the material's expensive.
Yeah.
The epoxy resin's expensive.
Well, how do y'all do all that and keep, like, what do the front fenders go for on these things?
That front fender is like $400,
which is the going rate for it, right? A little bit less actually, isn't it?
I think that's right there, pretty standard.
Okay.
They're $400 to $500.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, dude, that seems like
that's what most people sell for, like $1,000, I think.
Yeah.
We're right around $900.
Yeah.
Rear fender, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got the one with the pocket, which give you an option.
Yeah, I like that idea because it, you sell it with like a frame, like a little
billet frame.
Yeah. That just kind of eliminates the whole like,
where do I put my?
Well, yeah, what do you do back here? I'm not gonna lie, I get annoyed when people have those little hanger license plates they put on the back of their bag.
Oh yeah. It's just like an afterthought, right?
Yeah. It's like, you have to have one of these to build.
Nah, bro, you got to be Dwayne status and just don't run a plate at all. Someone else was rolling around this past weekend with no plate like that. And I was like, oh, it's just all right, full send. We're just not running.
They must have not ever had a DWI.
Yeah, so. Just asking to get pulled over,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. When I saw you guys started making the RT fairing, I was like, God damn, dude! I already knew the process of that is so complicated.
Yeah.
And we painted a lot of the aftermarket RT fairings for of different brands, like TOL, like Sean's, fairing was a blend of like a road glide.
He stretched it wider.
Yeah. So it was more ideal for like the people wanted to put on baggers back in the day. But it's very heavy. I mean, he's doing it with fiberglass. It's super, super thick, but it's stout, right? Then you got the Russ Warnemount. I never say his last name very well, which actually that one's thinner. It's like one solid continuous piece. And then it has those like lower areas that kind of block it so you can't see in it as well. I painted a shit ton of those, but they're also like, they kind of like honey dick them, right? They sell the fairing for like $600 or $700 or $800, something like that.
Brackets are $600 some bucks.
So you think you're getting a fairing for sub grand, but then by the time you buy the brackets, the headlight, the fucking all the other things, you're way up there in the $2,000 range again. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man.
I was gonna bring one, but
that's big.
It was big and it got shipped out.
Hell yeah.
It's like
so how long does it take to like do one of those? Like start to finish, like laying it up.
Like FXR fairing?
Yeah.
By the time, like from beginning in, is a 2-piece mold.
Yeah. So you make 2 pieces and then bring them back together.
You trim it, bolt it together, and then you seam it.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the mold out, and then you got to body work the seam.
Mm-hmm.
We ship all our parts like it'll come body work and primered.
Yeah. Which is a big fucking thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like
there were a lot of guys that would just pull it out of the mold. You still got the seam line here.
Yeah.
I was like, no, we can't do that.
That, you know, I always tell people that little bit of extra, whether that makes the part more from this brand or that brand, is so worth it in the long run. And especially like looking at that primer, I already know that's like a polyurethane or a polyester style primer that for being on fiberglass, it doesn't sink back.
Yeah.
Is, you know,
It doesn't shrink as much.
It doesn't shrink, right? So what happens is when you get these like cheap fiberglass companies that throw like some cheap ass primer lacquer on it, as soon as you paint it and you put it in the sun, you'll see all the weave of the fiberglass in it. It's horrible.
Yeah, that was one thing where like we learned from the wheel stuff, man. Back in the chopper days when we started, everyone's bearing offsets were different. It didn't matter because every shop knew how to make their own wheel spacers, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're building a ground up chopper, when we moved into like bagger fitments, right in the like when 21s got popular.
Yeah.
That's when we're like, oh shit, these guys don't know how to make spacers. We have to redesign our hubs and make them like bolt on with Harley spacers.
Yeah.
Right? Like dumb everything down so people don't have to do shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of always just had that ingrained in our philosophy. It's like, just take the extra step now.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to stay on the phone explaining that. No, your painter is going to sand that down and body work it. And do, what do you mean? You know?
I was going to spray paint this in the garage.
Yeah, I am the painter.
Yeah.
But that's what makes a nice product.
Mm-hmm.
You know? We've always tried to be a brand that just wasn't throwing shit out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, having like, you know, making composite type stuff, like you want to give it to where people can just put this on their bike, right? They don't have to fuck with it, you know, or if they want to give it to a painter, it's, you know, I've painted some of the Italian stuff and, bro, like the pinholes in the stuff, like the amount of, you almost got to like sand it down and like
bury it and
clear coat and then come back and hopefully block it off where you're not sanding the clear back off. That way it fills all those little gel coat pinholes. Yeah. And that's it's kind of a nightmare, but it's actually like you pay the extra money to get with a brand that doesn't have have that issue. But yeah, the primer is a big thing on the fairings and stuff. Like the rust worn them out fairing, that one comes with some cheap primer on it, you know, and I always end up having to primer it again.
So what do you guys sand it off?
So you have to sand the entire piece.
Oh fuck.
Then primer it with like real primer and then sand it again. And so it's like a whole, you know, process, and those fairings are fucking,
it's not cheap.
They're a lot of material, like surface area, and they're very awkward to paint because you're painting the in and the out at the same time. And I try to explain that to people is like, paint a Roglad fairing or a Lowrider ST fairing, fucking easy.
Yeah.
You know, you just set it on a stand, you just get the edges, you're good. You don't have to make sure the inside is also fucking perfect.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
it's the front and the back side.
Because it's a one-piece fairing. It's not like the two-piece that you can take apart.
Have you started getting into making like a ST fairing yet? Like
I just finished a mold.
Nice. I think those.
I've got everything but the side covers right now. That front fender, that's like the little with the ears.
Yeah.
Kind of like it kind of looks like a sport bike fender. Front fairing, dash. I've got the bags just finished this week, inner and outer.
Inner, damn.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then I've got the rear fender. I just got to do the little side covers.
You remember when the newer Rushmore style bags came out on the baggers? And you remember it wasn't long before you could get the whole like hardware pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to happen with the ST stuff where you'll be able to get like a, you know, like aftermarket kit to do all the hardware in it. Cause
I think so.
Yeah.
Cause once they start making those who's that company that makes all the like color match bags?
Advan
and stuff.
Yeah, they have to be using something else. 'Cause I think they're making those bags too, right?
So whatever Chinese factory, they'll start selling that shit.
I wonder what the did you do the mismatch, or did you like even one of any of them out, or what?
On this one, their mismatch is OEM.
Yeah,
but now I've got a mold. I'll make a glass one and I'll cut it, and then make a new mold for that. Was it the right or left side? I don't remember.
Personally,
here it comes. Here comes his sales pitch, and it's going to be right.
I think the better looking bag is the shorter one. The longer bag it doesn't have the sporty aesthetic that I think, and the new bikes just went with the longer bag on each side. So I don't know. I feel like maybe there's a market to have two short bags.
I think that's the way we were going to go, because I was going to pull a glass one and then cut it.
Yeah, and sink it match. Yep.
Yeah.
Because you got to think like in the performance world, people want to show off their wheel, their rotors, their caliper,
shocks,
and so you have it up a little bit. You know, it just, to me, it looks better.
No, I think shorts.
And it's not that much more of a like space to where you're like, oh shit, like I gotta have two long ones, you know?
I just don't know why Harley did two. That just makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean,
just aesthetic wise, just because you ran a big ass exhaust that people are gonna take off.
Yeah, well, same thing they did. They made like they made a modern version of the T-Sport bags, which are like the leather pro style.
Oh yeah.
And then they put they dug pockets out for the turn signals, like the thing that we all take off as soon as we get the bike.
Then now you've got this.
Now you got two
cavity.
I'm like, man, like y'all really talk about like not my job.
That's when they're like, oh, we can put a Baja light in there.
instead of figuring out a way like to relocate the signals so they don't sit right there.
Yeah,
they're like, no, let's just cut a hole in these bags and make them look terrible.
Let's fuck them.
Yeah, it's kind of retarded, but yeah, I mean, like I think the ST stuff is like a good thing, because a lot of people, I've seen the ST bags going on lots of models of bikes from FXRs. I want to say I've seen them. I have not seen them on a Dyna yet, but they
look good on.
I think it will. It's just like they're not like hollowed out on the inside for like shocks.
Dude, I remember the first time I saw it on a bagger, I was like, bro.
Yeah, I think TOL made a setup.
Yeah. And then San Diego Customs had a bike that had it, and I was like, bro, sick.
Yeah, I got one of my old school fucking baggers that I just need to update.
Yeah.
I want to do that on there.
That'd be sick, man.
Yeah.
I think they look good. Yeah, the ST fairing is sick too. I mean, it's just a good look, and it's actually, I love the fact that it's a 2-piece thing, so you're not having to deal with, like we were talking about, that FXR, one. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I'm actually personally looking to probably get another ST myself, like a lowrider, probably by the end of the year if my money's right. You know what I mean? I thought I wanted a new bagger, man, but I don't know if it's not really speaking to me like I thought it was. Not the bike itself, like just me wanting one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the price point that they're at right now, it's insane. Yeah,
a little bit tough to kind of swallow that. But not that the ST is much cheaper. It's like what the baggers.
It's what, like 28?
The ST is like 25, I think. But it's got like that big ass motor in it now, the 117 high output and all that shit. Man, I don't know, man. I'm into it. Fucking into it. So
I feel like that ST for you, it kind of meets like all those little
like check boxes.
Yeah. Like he's an FXR guy. He likes old school FXRs, right? It's like the modern version of what the FXR is supposed to be, right?
And a little bit of
it's a little bit of the bagger, but it's not like a full blown bagger.
Yeah.
But it's it's not a Dyna, but you appreciate those too. So it's a little, you've got that performance lighter bike, but it's got the touring, but it's still got the look and aesthetics of what the FXRT used to be like. I think it's just right there. It's a happy medium.
Yeah. I mean, I
think that model's gonna be popular.
I definitely think it will. We were kind of worried it was going to become the girl bike that everybody wanted. Not worried, but it kind of started becoming like every chick was riding that bike, and not that there's a problem with that, but it just, just like, oh, well,
it's like the Sportster.
Yeah. But then, I feel like it kind of became an all gender bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%, because The husband rode the Road Glide, but she didn't feel as confident on it because it was too heavy. So I'll get on this ST. I can go just as long.
Yeah.
And I've got all the creature comforts that I have on a bagger, but it's lighter. So they felt more confident on it. And then it was like, you know, once that happens, husband ride the bike once in a while. I was like, oh shit, I can actually go rip on this thing. Like,
yeah,
it's faster than my bagger.
What was that gay one? That little 500?
Oh, the street.
Oh,
the street. Yeah.
Do they still make? They don't make that anymore.
No. That was
dumb.
Yeah, there's like it wasn't practical. I think they were trying to capitalize on that like entry level like CC kind of thing, smaller bike. But I feel like I think one of them had a fairing on those bikes that I actually wanted to kind of run on like a bike. Like I like all the like obscure fairings.
I'm trying to think.
So it had like kind of like that Dyna Lowrider S. It had like a little tiny
around the headlight, like a little
brow.
The fairing that I love, there's two fairings that I love. Fairing headlight combos is the one that came on the live wire, that headlight, and it has a little cowl over it. That's pretty sick. And then there's the what's the other one? It's like the fat tire one, the M8 fat tire that came out.
The Breakout?
Was it a Breakout or the FXLR or something like that? The FX,
the one with the 250.
Yeah, it was like the
Fat Boy.
No. This was the one. It had like,
but it's like a 1 year only.
But it's like a metal.
I think it looks like FXLR is what.
Yeah, it's a fat tire. It was like a V rod, like a reincarnated V rod.
I know what you're talking about.
That fairing on that thing was sick. The headlight is like a different shaped headlight, so I was like pretty interested in that. But
it was like a elongated long headlight. It had like a little brow thing on it too. A little different though. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I like, you know, like if you're gonna run like the FXRs kind of stripped down, those different type of things up there was kind of, you know.
I remember it had like a weird swing arm and like no rear fender. Like if I remember, the rear fender was like attached to the swing arm.
And no, it was just like a sport bike.
That's what I mean. Like it was a little different.
I know which one you're talking about. You're thinking of the Rocker.
No.
The Rocker C is the old one, the old chopper one.
The fender was like,
it was like on the swing arm. Yeah, that was a rough one.
That was an ugly bike.
They're in the deal. I mean, they're at the motor company just going, fuck yeah, this is going to be so sick. That's what I always think when like you're driving down the highway or something, you see like an old truck or just a car in general that has like the worst flame job you've ever seen. And you just got to sit there and think, man, somebody was sitting there and step back and go, fuck yeah.
Yeah, they were fucking hammered and high.
Exactly. Like, dude, this is going to be so sick. And they ran with it. And it's just like.
I feel the same way with those kind of models. The bad part is when it comes from like either like the motor co or even like a car company, that wasn't just like one or two people.
Yeah,
that was a room full of people that
was
devoted,
a whole board.
That's what I'm saying. A board of people that spent a lot of money that were like, fuck yeah, that's going to be the one.
That's going to save us.
Yeah. That's save us.
That's going to put us back.
Yeah. We're back, baby.
I would say that I think that when they came out with the Lowrider ST, that balanced out the bikes. Yeah. Because there was a lot of people that liked the Lowrider S, especially the Dyna
guys.
When they brought it to the softail line, it was popular as well. But the ST just really gave like people that weren't quite ready to go full bagger or whatever, just an option to tour and have like the creatures of comfort that you get from a bagger. You know,
I look it up. It was the FXDR.
That's right, the D.
It had like a sport bike tail section, but there's like there is a little fender.
Oh, that like a mud flap.
Right, that's right above the tire.
Yeah. 1 year only, I think.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, just, you know. Well, when they came out with the Softail, like, you know what's weird is how they keep a lot of the bikes close to their chest now. Mm-hmm. But they released all those like Rev Max, like the Pan America and all the bikes they were going to do in that line, like 2 years before it ever came out. Like some Elon Musk, like, you know, Cybertruck shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And then they ended up canceling most of the line and only came out with the Sportster S and the Pan America.
So I got to push back on that because the Bronx was the one that like got axed. But if you really look at the new Pan Am, the like street version with the strip down, like that's basically a Bronx.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every time they make something like I even like the Pan America, like I don't know what the logistics of it is, but part of me is like, I wonder if I could get that headlight and that fairing, and if it could be retrofitted to something else.
Put on your FXR.
Yeah, something, man. Fuck it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like finding something different.
Just
you know,
mix match stuff.
It's how do you like riding that my FXR chopper this year, like going to Sturgis and stuff. There's nothing else out there like that, really. I mean, I know that there's
a rigid or
no.
Did you do a rigid frame? No,
just we just cut the neck and went up, and kind of has it. It's just kind of tall but tight still, so it kind of looks sporty, I guess you'd say a little bit. But you just don't see a lot of things out there like that. And I think finding a way to do bikes that, whether it's even like modern stuff, like finding a way to make it different is like what everybody's looking for right now.
Yeah,
you know. Putting ST fairings or RT fairings on different models, even though it's been done, I think it's a used bike market right now. People are going to be looking to buy something for $20,000 and spend another $20 in it, then spend $35,000 for a bike
stock.
Yeah, and have the same bike that everybody has.
No more disposable income to throw up parts.
Yeah, I really feel like it's going to be a while before we get back to that. I don't know. I mean, I'm no economicist. How do you say it? Economist?
Economist.
That's why he's here. Remember I told you.
Well, dude, I don't know if you saw, like, I just saw it today. Literally, fourth quarter Harley, they were down like 119 million.
Fuck yeah.
Fourth quarter earnings. It's like, oof.
Damn.
Probably not a good time to pitch him my media deck, huh?
Hey. No.
I don't remember when Harley was up. It's been a long time, man.
They got to be making some kind of money somehow or another, right? I don't know how that shit works when there's stock markets involved. Yeah. Like
not a stocks guy.
Yeah, I don't know any of that shit. But yeah, it just seems simpler to run a business like the way you guys would do it, or the way I do it. It's just hand over fist. Like I make a part, you want the part, make sure that my there's profit in it, right, and then just go from there. Yeah. Did you ever thought about getting more? Because I know y'all were kind of working on people's bikes for a while. Did that just kind of like dry up a little bit as far as like the demand?
We did that out of like kind of a service to our customers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then it got to the point where, we'd have a full-time tech there, and then that just became babysitting. And for a while, it kind of took our focus away from parts manufacturing. Mm-hmm. And it was probably 5-6 years ago. Made a decision like no more installs, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just go back to our roots, which is just
manufacturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then, you know how it is. You got the customer coming in, wants to hang out.
Yeah.
While you're working on his bike, and you can't.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
You can't get shit done.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that. Every once in a while, there's a part of me that wants to like go back into a shop, sell parts, put them on bikes. But it's also been so long since I had a shop like that I don't remember how much I hated what you just said. Because that's where those like text messages come while you're at dinner with your old lady or on Sunday. Coming? Hey man, I saw you're at the movies with your wife. Just wanted to see what the progress is on my bike.
Yeah, you're like, dude,
it's like, bro, fuck that.
Hey, bro, those BST carbon wheels, what do they run? You don't know offhand, right off top? Like
I'll check tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. I've told you the automotive. That's how it was. Like people call me at obscene times, and it's like, bitch, call me at work. Like,
yeah.
It makes it awkward, and it takes the fun out of it. It definitely can turn you off quick.
Yeah. So with all the new products and stuff you guys got going, like what's the idea? I mean, you got a bike that you're thinking about building to kind of showcase these things, or is it kind of like?
Right now, it's just building up the full parts line on the carbon side. As far as like baggers, that's one category. And then right now we've been focusing on the STs. Mm-hmm. We've got most of the bagger molds done. But the ST is probably like 80%. Like we just talked about, we dove into that market thinking, hopefully, that'll take off. But
no, I think it will for sure. You know what I mean? especially if you can make it to where it's like if you have a way to have brackets to sell the ST fairing where it would bolt up to where the RT fairing goes on a FXR, or a way to put it on a Dyna, like it's just an option to like sell that fairing to more platforms,
more people,
and it's just a headlight. It's not like you got fucking gauges up in there or anything you got to make wiring for. I mean, I think that like that's kind of why I wanted to have you on the podcast, just to kind of let people know that you're making these products, and it's another option for people out there that want to get carbon, the carbon accessories, the fender, the dash, the side covers, those kind of things. So
and we'll try to do things a little different, like the pocket, wherever we can find somewhere where we can not solve a problem, but that license plate's always on a smooth fender. Where are you going to put it? And then they make the brackets that kind of float over it, which don't really flow with it.
Yeah, and then depending on who it is, like if you can sell this to the guy in his garage who does know how to take a fender on and off, but probably might not be good at like finding center line and drilling holes and all that stuff, and like just make it seamless, like you said, with all the products that you've made,
Yeah, we try to do everything these aren't pre-drilled yet, but you can see they've got the scribes in them, but we'll pre-drill them. We'll even mount the seat post stud in there. Like it actually came from this, or a softail fender with the pocket.
Yeah.
And I remember when we first launched the stretch fender, like, do we do smooth or license plate? Because people were running the side mounts on the Vicless.
Yeah.
Remember? And we decided just do both.
Yeah.
And it's 50-50. You just never know. Yeah. Everyone's like, the smooth is going to be more popular because you can, your paint. And
I think it's just good to have an option, because not everybody wants, their side. I'm personally not a big fan of like the side of the bike license plate shit.
I feel like you're an asymmetrical guy, so like that would probably throw you off, having a license plate hanging off one side.
Isn't asymmetrical when it's like off? I'm asymmetrical. Yeah. So to me, like that's why it drives me nuts when they put the license plate on the bags. I'm like,
like put another license plate on the other bag.
Like I need to bounce it out. Yeah. Jeremy's an asymmetrical guy. Yeah. Lucky Strike. When he gets the opportunity to paint something that's not like the same on both sides, he's like, I think he definitely has a heart on for sure. But yeah, no, I just like it. I think it's good to have options. I've been trying to talk to a lot of brands that make things, because if you have a distinctive product, and it gets big and everybody's buying it, then it becomes not cool to have it anymore because everybody has it. So when you have another option of that product that's tried and true, it's nice to have that balance of finish, not just finish, but like styling. You know what I mean? There's a reason why there's more than one wheel style. You know what I mean? So
you can't personalize something if everybody has it. If it's all the same, then it's no longer personalized.
Then it's no longer just a Me Too product, right?
Yeah. But I mean, that is kind of like one of the things that we've noticed in the motorcycle industry is even like guys I know that are like master fabricators, like they've gotten into, the CNC stuff just to stay with the demand of what most people want. I think it's like a deeper layer connection of an individual in the motorcycle world that wants to have something custom made now, which kind of is scary. Like, when does that go away? You know what I mean?
There's rarely like a one-off custom built bike anymore.
Yeah.
They're all catalog bikes. Paint job and pick and choose what part.
Different finishes.
There's no like fabrication like it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, beginning of the big wheel baggers, people were still chopping necks, making tanks, doing some metal work.
Yeah.
And then it morphed into fiberglass.
Yeah, because people would like, fuck, I'll make one part and repop it, you know? Yeah, I would say guys like Corey from Main Drive, he found a way to take all his fabrication skills and do something to an FXR that like like it's hidden between.
You've got to know.
You got to know, right?
Yeah.
It's hidden in the quality, but it's. I thought when I saw that, I was like, man, that's the way that somebody that has those kind of talents could stay kind of like relevant, or that's not the right word, like just stay in it, if that makes sense, But it's kind of like what you were saying. I also think that like the chopper or some version of chopper is kind of making a comeback. There's so many people building FXR choppers right now, and you're seeing a lot of Evos because you can get those old Evo softails for nothing.
Yeah.
I saw one for $2,500 on Marketplace. You know what I mean? You could do a lot to those bikes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Those were the good old days, but man, there was a lot of more creativity. Like you go to Daytona back then, you don't know what the hell you're going to see.
Yeah.
Now it's, pretty much what you're going to see.
I forget. I think Haney said it on the way to the Polar ride. He goes, don't worry, guys. There'll be plenty of places to show off your anodizing or something like that. He said something like that, and it caught me off guard. And I was like, fuck.
That's true, though.
But it's like, that's kind of like what we've kind of, like the performance motorcycle scenes kind of became, is like it's an anodizing show or something like that,
Powder coat and anodizing show.
What happened to gold? You had, didn't y'all's white bike, the white one y'all did for the hot bike tour, has some gold plating on it or something like that?
It was,
that
was gold.
Like paint.
Gold powder coat.
Oh, yeah. That was a crazy bike y'all were building back then.
I still have that.
You do?
Yeah. I've robbed some parts off of it. It's on a stand, but I always tell myself one day I just need to put it back.
You still have that blue one?
Yeah.
Damn. I remember that one.
The blue one. That red and black Road King.
Mm-hmm.
I still have that. That's the one I want to convert to the FXR with the ST bags.
ST bags, yeah.
Because that one that's an 03 Road King.
Damn.
But I made a 180 fit in the stock swing arm.
Yeah, that was the only downside to those old skinny baggers was those, just the way that bags mounted, it would always break those brackets.
Yeah.
And things like that. It was just kind of a dumb design.
And that bike, I also made like the 09 to 13 rails fit on that.
Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
I just welded on brackets to.
Yeah, I feel like you could. What was it? Because those, they're straight, like the subframe rails on the old skinny tires, right?
Yeah.
So you welded like the actual curved ones
so
on
you
there?
know where the struts are for your fender?
Mm-hmm.
Off of that, I just welded some tabs because the 09 one mounted to the top and the front.
Yeah.
So you only had to weld an ear and tap it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And you had the 09 style, which was the one piece. Remember the one piece bent ones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not bad at all. I think the ST is a good way to go, though, man.
Yeah, that's
because it's really just those two brackets, and then your third, is down there on the frame somewhere.
It's simple.
It's simple. Even like a clamshell bag has a complicated bracket system, and then it has a connector that goes like from one side to the other. That's kind of a mess. Like a lot of bracketry.
Why those didn't really get too popular aftermarket,
Yeah, some people made them. They're simple designs to make, like as far as clamshell, making the bags, but the bracketry,
the mounting stuff was
you got to make
funky.
Yeah, you can't just make it off two like little machined little fucking spacer things that you can just
kind of like pop in.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a mess, man. But like I said, didn't y'all get into like some car shit for a while, like making some damn wide body Corvettes and stuff like that?
Yeah, we did a wide body C7 kit. We still make those.
For real?
Yeah, I got the molds. Now the C7s, they're getting cheap enough where people are willing to chop them up, because that was a full like conversion kit.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like
a
rivets and bolt on.
So those rear fenders come off of those cars, right? Like
the rear fenders do, and then the front fenders come off.
Mm-hmm.
So all those parts were bolt on, but like the bumper, the rocker by the door, and the rear bumper, you'd have to cut and mold.
Oh, mold it. Yeah. Those, dude, I was so close to getting a C7. And I asked my wife, I was like,
They're
hey,
bad to the bone, man.
this is my favorite Corvette ever.
Oh, dude.
Straight up. Like, I'm not a big fan of the newest ones.
Nah. It's cool, but the C7 was.
Yeah, C7 just, that's the one that like a Stingray.
Yeah.
Bro. I want one. I want to get one of those and do like a cross-country road trip on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're going to go like full-blown midlife crisis, the Docker shorts with the polo tucked in and the boat shoes.
The jean shorts with the New Balance.
Yes.
The white polo.
Yeah. Tucked in, of course.
Tucked in. Yeah. No belt.
Yeah.
No belt.
Yeah, because you're relaxing.
I want to undo the belt buckle just to go pee. You know what I mean? But no, I do like those. I actually asked my wife, I was like, hey, babe, what do you think about Corvettes? She goes, they're gay. I'm like, you don't even know which one I'm talking about.
She just associate with like a midlife crisis car.
Yeah, it sucks, man, because I actually always liked Corvettes. I thought they were cool as shit, you know? But yeah, there is like a stigma on some of them that I think certain generations are like, nah, it's just dumb. But
the C7s are coming down in price.
Yeah.
Where, like the C6 was so popular because you could pick one up for like 25, 28 and then throw 20 in it and
have a fucking monster. Yeah.
I mean, I think you can get like the first gen C7s, like 14s, 15s. You can probably get them in the low 30s now.
Man, like when I was looking last summer, because when I sold that CVO, I was like, you know what, man, maybe I could buy this. I was just looking, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe something happened. I could just.
Bro, you really are going through a midlife crisis. You talking about?
I bought a van, dude.
Talking about CVOs. Oh, I sold my CVO, and I think I'm gonna get a Corvette.
That's a lateral move, dude. It's a lateral move.
I really don't even know you anymore.
Well, when I was looking, I felt like I found some for sale, like you said, the first generation ones. Like I found plenty of them, like from just a private seller, not like going and trying to finance it for like, I don't know, like I think the lowest was like 22, 24, 25, with still less than 100,000 miles on it. But of course, this was 2024 summer. Like I don't know if the economy, if there was something like that going on, but then like Corvette Warehouse and some other people had them for sale, and the lowest I really saw was like 32 or 3, but with like a shit ton of miles on them, and you know, not really that. I wanted a stick shift too, you know what I mean? So finding one of those, I think it's the last body style that did it. The
stick, to get it.
So I think the new Corvettes don't come with that, but I could be wrong.
Electronic shift now, paddle,
dude. I forever did not know what a torque converter did on a car until my buddy Connor fucking explained it to me, because I got that van that we want to LS swap, and he's talking about putting a can.
Is that what's outside?
No, that's a panel. I have an old like Chevy van, like a.
Oh, I saw you post something like that.
And
the raper van?
Pretty much, yeah. Girls rape you in it, dude. It's crazy. But, you know, I just never knew what a fucking torque converter did, because I've always had manual cars. I've never built like an American muscle kind of fucking automatic vehicle. I was like, what the fuck is a torque converter do? And then he started explaining it to me. I was like, dude, a stick just sounds so much easier. Just put a clutch in it and let's fucking
more
go.
Fun to drive, man.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't know. The van thing it's been a blast, because.
What are you doing on that?
I mean, me and my wife wanted, like we've always wanted to have a van, not to van life, but to have something we could travel in and kind of dual purpose everything. And a Sprinter, as everybody knows, like you can, you know, if you're going to get one new or get like a Dodge or any of those kind of, you know, Ford Transit, like, you know, $30,000, $40,000, if not way more, depending on, you know, how new it is and options, right? Or you can get a used one, and like maybe you get a used Sprinter with a Mercedes diesel in it, and it's still got another fucking 400,000 miles to go, or you never know. But those are still going for $15,000, $16,000. And we're like, we bought this van for $6,000. It looked badass. And we're like, if we put another $10,000 in it, or $16,000, we have a modern engine, modern suspension, like Resto-Matic kind of, and then we can travel all over the country with this. And if there is a problem, like, we have we can fix it at AutoZone. You know what I mean? As opposed to like those diesels, like I had a buddy that had a Sprinter that was like always in the shop, and it was stuff that you couldn't fix.
It's like electronic shit.
Yeah.
Like you got to plug it in, and
it has to do all this crazy shit because of like those Mercedes motors or something in there. can't go to AutoZone to get a replacement part for it.
Those old school vans look cool though.
That's it.
You know,
they just look cool, man.
You gonna paint it up and everything?
I want to. I didn't want to when I got
That's
it.
a lot of work. Huh?
It is. I like the way it looks, the way it is, but it's one of those flame jobs that I was talking about earlier, where somebody stood back and go, "Oh, this is sick." It's okay. It's not my thing. It's like kind of it's against everything that I believe in doing a flame job, but it just has the bare necessities of a cool van. And it's like, I'm scared that if I do try to paint it, that means I have to go do all the body work on the entire thing. I got to find someone's shop I can paint it at.
Yeah.
Because I can't paint it here. And then it's like, okay, well, I definitely have to redo the flames. And so there's a whole process there. And it just starts to...
It's like a can of worms, man.
It's almost like I'd rather buy another van that's a shell and just like completely restore that. And then at that point, since I'm going to end up doing a whole new motor and shit anyway, I might as well just sell the one I got and just build the other one out, you know?
Yeah, how you want to do it from the start.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's kind of why it's like one of those things where I'm trying not to touch it. It's kind of like, remember back when the C10s, they're still popular sale, but you wanted to find that perfect patina C10 and you just wanted to like get it running, throw a set of low wheels and just leave it alone. And just that was bitching. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I was hoping to do with this, but like the I want to make it mind bug is, you know what happened? I started posting, like trying to get some information on like forums on like Facebook and shit. Mm-hmm. And apparently some dude up there, like where you guys are all from in North Dallas, was the original owner and built it. It was in building choppers or whatever. And then he sold it to a dude in Fort Worth who I bought it from. And when I posted it in this thing, I was trying to find out about suspension for this thing.
People knew that.
They knew the guy. So I found the dude's Instagram and it's like, I see this whole build process. I'm like, man, I don't feel like any of this is mine anymore. You know what I mean? Like some other dude's bike or whatever, or vehicle. So I still love it, but it's like, I'd rather, go through it and make it mine somehow. What do you drive? What do you have? Didn't you have a Corvette for a while?
Yeah. I sold that one.
You did?
Well, I built that for the body kit. But man, that thing put a Pro Charger in it. I built a custom exhaust on the back. Did the wide body rims. Man, that thing moved.
Dude, those things look so sick with the wide body kit on it.
Oh man,
it's like the perfect car for it.
The Z06 was 2.5 inches wider in the rear. And ours was 7.
Damn.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But we kept all the factory lines, so it didn't look like it was, we called it like the pregnant guppy. And then the front was 2 inches wide, 4 inches total compared to the stock.
And when you do those, you're pretty much getting offset wheels for that stuff. Like
you got to do custom offset wheels.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was any kind of like shit they would do with like the rear. Like,
no,
it's not really a thing, right?
No, not on that type of car.
You narrow a rear end, you don't widen a rear end, right?
No, yeah, you narrow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that one mine had a 21 rear, and it was a 375.
Damn.
And the front's a 285/20.
Fuck. Yeah, those things are just sick, man.
It was bad.
Fucking Corvettes, dude. I probably can't even fit in one, to be completely honest with you.
I mean,
you can.
You can?
You remember Nick?
Yeah.
Big Nick?
Mm-hmm.
He fit.
I mean, Jason's got that short inseam because he's short, and he's got that. I mean,
I can't reach the pedals before my belly hits the steering wheel.
You have the old midlife crisis dad bod to drive a
hell
Corvette.
yeah.
It's probably actually very comfortable for you. It's me that doesn't.
It's made for your body type.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, Devin.
A little out of shape, kind of short. Short king moves. That's what that is.
Appreciate it. Thank you, bud. Love the vote of confidence here.
Letting everyone know, huh?
Hey, man.
You're trying to make the description for the guys that are just listening to the podcast.
Be like that sometimes.
Well, I usually just try to get the best angles of myself. That way I don't have to deal with my imperfections as a human. You body shaming faggot. I mean, asshole.
Hey. Be like that sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been, I mean, like like I said, this whole fucking scene it's been growing pretty good here in Dallas. You know what I mean? Like the whole performance bikes and
Oh, you do a bike night on Tuesdays, you said?
yeah.
Where do y'all do that at?
It's at Cold Beer Company. It's like right.
Where's that?
It's like on the end of Deep Ellum before you get into like Fair Park area.
Yes.
Like,
Far east end of Deep Ellum.
So like
by like Double Wide and all that?
next door.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've been there for 2.5 years.
Yeah. Something like that.
And yeah, every Tuesday we're there. And like I said, every once in a while, it's not. You remember those bike nights they used to do at
Quaker Steak?
Yeah, those things
the
were
big
fucking
ones.
massive. Ours is nothing like that. It's more like personable. Like you can go there and you can actually meet everybody and talk to them and, you know, create relationships or whatever you want to call it with people. So it's like to me, I feel like you get more for your buck, even though you're not getting as many eyes on your bike, but none of us really give a fuck about the bikes.
So you're just hanging out.
Yeah, we're just hanging out, drinking beer, talking about whatever.
Yeah.
You know. But I mean, like when somebody gets a bike done or they do something on their bike, we'll all go out there and check it out. And or somebody comes up on a new
It's
bike.
just not bike centric. It's not like everyone's out there standing there just like walking around looking at each other's bikes. Because everyone there knows each other. So, and it, you know, there's nights that it does get big. You'll have a bunch of bikes there. And but it's just.
Because it's every week, you never know when it's going to be a rager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there'll be times where, you know, it's fucking 40 degrees outside and there'll be 100 people there. You're not 100, but like, you know, 60, 70 people. And you're like, what the fuck did this come from? And why? There's no rhyme or reason. And then it'll be a night like tonight where it was like fucking
Perfect.
80 degrees outside.
No one.
And it'll be crickets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
The Mavs game or something. And all of a sudden, like everyone's MIA.
yeah. Don't say Mavs right now, dude. Sore subject.
Luca.
Dude.
That shit pissed me off, man. Like, I woke up Sunday with a hangover, and then that's the first thing I see on my phone.
Like, fuck.
That shit hurt me, dude.
He said, we lost the great white hype. What is wrong with this place?
I thought it was April Fool's, man, straight up.
I saw on, I think it was TikTok today, someone put a casket down by the AA Center, and they were having like a mourning for Luca.
Dude, I saw the funniest
They
meme.
had the picture, the roses and shit in a casket.
Wow.
I saw the funniest meme, and it was basically like a chick asking, she's like, I don't understand this NBA thing. Can someone explain this to me in girl terms? And it was like, that's like Destiny's Child trading Beyonce to TLC for Chili.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got it. I get it now.
Yeah. That's just about right.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone understands that.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, that
was
that
crazy,
hurt, man.
huh?
Yeah, it's one of those, like, there's gonna be conspiracy theories based off this shit. If there isn't already, you know what I'm saying? Like, there had to be something else going on. Like, who makes that dumbass trade? You know what I mean?
They were saying something about the new owner not getting the vote for the casino thing.
They want to make the
And then they want to tank the Mavs because they had no leverage.
yeah.
Because Dallas, I guess, is a huge market for the NBA on TV.
Oh yeah, especially with them being good. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense
dude,
for
it's a
them.
huge it's a huge metroplex in the nation. I think it's like the third largest metroplex.
Yeah.
So then you've got when they're competitive, obviously everybody, you know, people going
watching
waves,
it.
they're bandwagoners. So when they're doing well, everybody's watching them.
Yeah, even though Cowboys suck, like, they still draw attention. People want to watch them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then our baseball team won the chip last year, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, fuck. We got to see. Stars are kind of like,
Dude, they're like
Contenders.
on the cusp every year. They're like they're
Yeah.
just like right there, but they can't get over the hump.
yeah,
Every team's pretty much solid,
they fucked us.
except the
on that one.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's you guys are in an abusive relationship. Like you guys want to believe they tell you they're gonna change, and you guys buy it every year. It's like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we grew up during the Aikman.
Yeah. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
Irving
You
and
guys were
Emmitt
there for the
Smith era.
honeymoon phase. So like you see that it could be good. So every time they tell you, no, I swear I'm gonna be better.
I felt like we had.
okay,
I felt like we had a good run when we had like Romo in there a couple times,
Yeah,
you know,
but
but never.
Playoffs, man.
Yeah.
Dude, don't you remember?
always choke.
I just remember everybody talking shit about Romo, saying that he was, you know, oh, he can't get it done. He can't get it done. And they basically wanted to force him out, so he retires. and Dax was going to be the savior, and that dude sucks.
Yeah.
Dax reminds me of that movie Any Given Sunday with Jamie Foxx and those guys. Because it was like what's his name? Was it Dennis Quaid was like the quarterback or whatever, and he was like having a hard time, and then homeboy comes in.
Bill Bellamy comes in.
Yeah, Bill Bellamy.
Bill Bellamy.
How to Be a Player, baby.
Yeah.
Man. Oh shit. Yeah, I was actually talking to somebody today about like the Dallas shop and builder scene. Like it's just so not, I mean, I know there's guys like you got North Texas V-Twin up there, up north. You got Daryl's Custom Cycle, who's been around forever. Hang 'em High down south. But I don't know any other known shops that are kind of like
same thing. Like people,
I know there is people. I just don't know them based on like, are you building custom bikes, or are you just like changing out tires and oil, or like what are you doing? And it feels like there's a great opportunity for someone to build like a Ramjet, or maybe not quite that level, but like a full shop, like building stuff. You know what I mean? Like handling it. But
it is going to have to be a performance shop.
I mean, that's yeah. Oh, I guess Lucky
what's
7.
What's his name? Remember Judd Calley?
Mm-mm.
He did all the dyno tuning. That's all he did was the dyno tuning. He was out there in Wiley.
I don't remember him.
No.
He has a shop?
He just retired.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
What was that GMR? Is that guy
Steve?
out in North Richland Hills, whatever, that has a dyno?
He does. Steve at GMR.
GMR.
I don't know what the acronym spells.
Dyno Ed and Richardson.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't know. I don't even like putting my bike on dyno.
They just dyno. They don't.
Yeah,
they don't build the motors or nothing.
Yeah, I don't like putting my bikes on dynos, man. The way they treat them on there, fuck, I'm like just lagging the motors just while they're waiting to go on another pool.
They're hard on them.
I'm like, dude, you're gonna fuck up my motor. So.
They'll say, "Oh, you put your cam in wrong." It was
it's like, no, dude.
It was off a degree.
The fuck is wrong? Keep some pressure on that thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know, man. There's not a shop here in Dallas where you can just like cruise in and there's a couple products for you on the wall. Cycle Gear doesn't like keep things for their V-Twin selling categories is like built, but it's like leather gloves that fit like shit.
Chest.
Yeah, a lot of chaps.
Yeah.
So there's like, I don't know. I just feel like we have a good scene here.
Strokers is the only place left that.
Oh, I forgot about Strokers. We do have that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick.
Rick.
I don't know, man. We have a shop here in Waxahachie called like The Shop.
Uh-huh.
It's a badass little spot, but it's not really set up to be a garage, like to work on bikes.
What do they do?
Well, they have it was a boutique. Apparently the lady that started it used to be one of those traveling, like rally, like they set up boutiques and sell like the corsets and different things for the women out there, leather, that kind of stuff. And then she just opened up shop here in town, and they do have drag account. They sell parts. They work on bikes now, but like they commandeered part of the parking, the inside parking garage that's behind them, and they turned that into like a little bit of a garage. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird to explain.
Yeah. No, I've gone there because I've had to have a tire done there, and it's actually kind of cool. They've got like a whole accessory. They do all the helmets and the little things like that, but there is like a little window where you can buy parts and you can have installs. But it is that when I take the wheel through the back, it's weird. You're walking into the shop and like you look over and it's like gating, and there's a garage, and you're like, okay, well that's strange.
It's kind of like if somebody has an apartment garage.
Yeah,
and
downstairs.
they just kind of like fence off like a part of the corner, and it's a full bike shop in there.
Yeah.
Are they geared towards V-Twins?
Yeah, they definitely are, but it's more the demographic of the guys that are kind of older, more
just old school cruiser guys.
There's only one term that really describes them the best. You know what I mean? And they're called Hell Yeah Brothers.
Yeah.
So, they
hell yeah.
Right?
I mean, they all party the same.
I have Vance and Hines? You got that Vance and Hines? Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
Just slip on though.
Hey.
No headers.
I'm still saving up for that. I'm still saving up for that stage one.
Yeah. No, they get like there was a while like everybody wanted like fucking a certain header, but they wanted the Reinhardt pipes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With the billet tips on the back.
the Reinhardts. Oh man,
you're speaking his language now. He knows.
Yeah.
Well, this shit we used to have to do back.
And the Thunderheaders, man.
Yeah, you want to find, because when they started doing stretch bags and you wanted the pipes to come out the back, you needed something like,
you want to see it.
Yeah, you want to be able to get the ones that have the longer tips that you can put on the back, so it'll kind of go past it, if you will. It's this shit that people used to do, man. It's just different, you know.
Hey, man.
I still like it. I don't know, man. It's kind of like sport bikes, right? Like I appreciate them, I love them, but I just don't see myself ever being back.
Still a wide tire stretch swing arm scene?
I don't think so. No? I think most of it
that was like the big wheel bagger for them.
Yeah.
So I will say I do still the few times that I'll stop, downtown to get me some tacos.
Yeah.
I have gone in there a couple times and you'll see one or two of them come rolling in. Have to bang it off the limiter for a minute, and then they just go ahead and dip on out.
Just kind of fucking leave a mark, if you will.
Right. Dinosaur had to come stretch his legs for a minute, let him know what time it was.
Yeah, it still works.
Yeah, man, there's so many different scenes now. Yeah. There's like, in choppers, you have the vintage chopper scene, which is completely different than like your Rick Fairless chopper guys, right? And then you got like the performance guys like us that are on, a style of bike. And then you got sport bikes. Then you got just people that have motorcycles that go to like the cottage and strokers and just kind of like bop around. Like they're a part of the motorcycle world, but they're not like they're not a part of any particular scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. It's just honestly probably they're having the best time because they're just
along for the ride. So I don't care.
But and then you have like what other scenes do we have going on?
You got like you said, you've got the Vikla scene.
Yeah.
You still
is there still a cafe racer scene?
I think so.
Like the old Honda CBs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that Haas Museum, like that.
Oh yeah.
Those guys kind of like, I think they kind of represent that kind of British cafe, scene. They used to do.
I think I just don't drink enough expensive coffee to know where those guys hang out.
Yeah, I mean. They used to hang out at fucking the bar we're at and 8 Bells and things like that. But I don't know. Even like figuring out what part of town where all the bikers like bikes go to that isn't Strokers or Cottage. And I don't even know anymore.
I don't even know.
We do our thing and we have a bunch of buddies that have bars that they will go to and frequent when we want to do something different. But other than that, like we're pretty much like a 4-trick pony going on our side of things.
Man, I used to ride with every Sunday, probably like 20 deep.
Mm-hmm.
And then most of them got off Harleys and got into that side-by-side, the mudding.
Yeah, yeah.
And I probably have a handful that still have their Harleys.
For real.
Like buddies that, my riding buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. I mean, a lot of these guys, they have kids and then they feel selfish riding. So it's like, oh, I can get a side-by-side. I can put a cage in. I remember when the Rhinos and those things first came out, they were like, oh, I can take this bed and I can put a 4-seater cage in it and a jump seat. And now my kids can go with me.
Yeah.
To the mud rallies.
Yeah. And then you still do cool stuff, right? You're still doing the cool dad stuff.
It's kind of like a boat for the mud.
Yeah.
I don't like the mud.
I don't either. I'm not into that.
Nah.
It's not my thing either.
I mean, I've always said this. I like, look, when when you're on a bike, either you're going to get deep into this stuff and become part of like certain scenes or cultures, or you're always going to be like on the verge of becoming a boat guy, a fucking a barbecue guy, a Corvette guy.
Dude, you just explained my whole character.
Yeah, I mean it's cool, but it's like I don't know. It's like it's like they can't have more than one hobby. You know what I mean? Even though I really can't either. Like all my hobbies still like fill the hobby of motorcycling. Like I get into photography and videography,
but it's centered around
Harleys. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. But
I did get bit by the boat bug though.
Yeah,
it's just fun,
man. I wish I knew somebody with a boat. Actually, Nick had a boat, or Nick Morale from back when we were doing the All-Star Baggers thing. And I went out there, the last time I went on a boat was when I was still part of that brand back in 2012. I guess I don't ever have time to do anything like that,
Yeah.
So it's like when
That's probably why I don't ride as much because
you're on the boat.
Hot, go on the boat, man.
But isn't it like still fucking hot as hell out there? Like if you're out in Texas and it's 110 degrees, I mean, it's still hot out there on the boat. And
it is, but you dip in the water.
Dip in the water, yeah.
Put that lily pad out. Got the music cranking, drinking some beers.
Does Rockwall have like a good little party cove kind of thing going on? Nice.
So right there on 30.
But so here's the real question: are you married?
Yeah.
Oh well, that kind of shocks me because boat guys are motorcycle guys that realized that if you get a motorcycle, you're only attracting more men. But if you get a boat, all women love boats.
She's as wild as me, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. So
you gotta watch out there on the boats though, man. You can still get DWIs out there.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Louisville's bad on cops.
For real.
Rockwall's not too bad.
I was gonna say, yeah, because everyone's going out to Louisville so that they go out there and that's the party.
That's a dangerous lake.
Yeah, someone's got to die every year at the lake just to remind people, like, hey, it's still dangerous, right? Mm-hmm. You need one on the news just here and there, but nah, it's crazy.
Motorcycles, man.
Yeah,
how many people we know that's
crazy enough in the performance motorcycle side? We haven't lost anybody.
I've known quite a few.
I mean, I've known a lot of people in the 20 years. More so on the sport bike side of things, but not so much on the Harleys, man, to be honest with you. And we're wearing helmets and, like it's like a everyday thing. So I guess, I don't know. It's just different, whatever. But I mean, we still get fucked up. But I think we just, we're wiser.
Yeah.
We've not wiser than somebody else, but we've grown to be wiser. Or whatever.
We've learned from all the fucking dumbass shit we've done.
So back to the parts. Is everything kind of like starting to roll on? You can go to the website, find all these products and stuff like that. What kind of lead times do you typically have on like some of the fenders, the carbon parts and stuff?
So carbon, we're about 3 to 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Fiberglass, 1 to 2 weeks.
Okay, it's not bad.
Yeah.
And it's all on the site and
PickardUSA.com. Yeah, we still carry our billet line. Mm-hmm. So billet, fiberglass, and like the new stuff for us is carbon fiber.
Nice. Well, yeah, guys, check him out. He's here local in Dallas, known him forever. Been buying parts from you forever. I thought it was cool when I started seeing the carbon coming out and the RT fairings and some of the products that kind of fit the trends of what we got going on right now. So thought it'd be cool to have you on. Y'all to come out to bike night if you want to come.
I need to. It's just, man, what time y'all meet up?
7. From where, if you're in Garland, that's easy.
No, but I live in Rockwall now.
Oh, we got homies out.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. Most of us live, none of us live close. Like we're 30 miles from here. Okay. And then he's 30 miles. Yeah.
I live in Midlothian, so I'm just down the road. So.
And then we got people from Greenville, like 3 people from Greenville that come every week.
They come all the way out from Greenville?
Yeah. We have a buddy. He can't come every week because of his job, but like we have a buddy that lives in Granbury that rides to bike night.
Yeah.
You got some Rockwall people too?
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Our buddy
there's one guy
Vincent.
in my neighborhood that's got a dyno that's always, you know what? Now I think about it, I think it is Tuesdays. I always see him ripping out.
Yeah.
He's probably going.
We have a lot of people from that side of town.
Kyle lives over there.
Well, Kyle's in Greenville, but you have like Cody Walker.
Yeah, before that, Cody. Yeah.
Cody Walker runs the Rodeo Cold Bar down there. They just built in off Ross. It's a pretty cool little spot. We got a handful of people, but it's like I said, typically on average there's about 15 people there every week. When the whole like core group shows up, there's about 30 of us. And then there's like the extended groups all over town that you'll start seeing waves come in.
Y'all bounce around or mainly stay?
No, we stay because the thing about performance bikes is that everybody thinks they're racers and wheelie guys. And so when they get sauced up around other guys, they start acting a fool.
It's like the old sport bike scene.
Yeah. So it's like we keep them stationary and
just to keep the
riffraff down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most everybody's pretty chill. Like when we go do some riding, but typically we don't go anywhere. We get so wrapped up in conversations and catching up that Next thing you know, it's fucking 12 o'clock at night and the bar's closing. And
You're like, damn, we gotta go. We got work.
yeah,
tomorrow.
exactly. But we do it on
I'll have to
Tuesday.
come out one Tuesday.
Yeah, it's
Y'all
a good
hit you
time.
up.
Yeah, just come on through. So, all right, Jevon,
Thanks for having me on the show, man. This was great.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming out, sitting in traffic. All right, man.
Not too bad. Thank you.